You don't want to die with any regrets. Yeah, you know, it's scary sometimes when you recognize that time is ticking. And this could be our only life. It's scary. It seems like time is going too fast, right? Time is flying by. It's like we're racing against time, the clock of life. We're all fighting and arguing and racing to get somewhere, right? To our dreams, to our hopes, expectations. Hmm. More debates? I'm way too tired to debate. I can't think straight. What can I do? I'm freaking out. Well, gotta look at the bigger picture, right? Humans are so focused on themselves. We're so egocentric. We're so selfish. So the only reason why you'd be scared if you're expecting something good to happen to you. You're expecting some prize at the end. But if you let go of those expectations, you're no longer scared. You're just living, right? So to me, I try to minimize the amount of expectations I have for my life. But at the same time, it's healthy to have some and have some goals and do things, but don't take life too seriously. That's what people tend to do. They tend to take life so seriously. Mm, there's times to be serious, there's times to not be serious. But in all this, we can just live. We should be living. We should be living without worrying about the future so much. Or the past, right? We tend to be stuck in the past and worried about the future, but we never live in the present. And that's honestly, um, there is no God. Let me cook guy won. Great. What was his argument? Where did he win? Right. What was the argument he really gave that showed God exists? All he did was formulate some notion of divine simplicity, which anybody can do. Doesn't make it true or sound. But again, it's just the amount of value is extreme. When you recognize there's no God, there's no afterlife, right? The amount of value in your life, it dramatically increases as you recognize that this is all we got. This might be our only life. And for that, every day is precious to me. Every day is a gift. Every day is something to be proud of instead of something to get over just to get to heaven. Right? Because the theist typically views life as this obstacle to get somewhere. So the theistic mind is always on that end goal that will never probably happen. They're constantly expecting things and hoping, and that's why they're sad when they recognize that God's not real. or that they don't get what they want. So that's just one of the aspects in which theism is toxic. Do you get everything you want? No, and that's the beauty of it. There are goals, that there are obstacles, that there are challenges in this world, and life is what you make it, right? You can either spend your life trying to get to those challenges and do that, and that's great for you. If you don't want to, you don't do it. So we're in this weird state, this interesting state, where it's up to us from our perspectives. Of course, I don't really believe in free will, but from our perspectives, it seems like we have free will. What is gravitational lensing? Well, the universe is vast, right? The universe is very vast, 90 billion light years across. But it wasn't always that large. There was a point in the history of our universe which the universe was the size of a grapefruit. Comparatively speaking, it was the size of a grapefruit. So as the universe expanded, light traversed through the universe, and what happens is black holes and galaxies have enough mass to bend light that's coming from us to the other side of the universe. Light beams throughout the universe, the other side of it, and as it passes black holes and galaxies and objects in the universe with mass, the light bends around those things. And from our perspectives, it looks like these warped objects. That's gravitational lensing. It's the bending of light as light traverses through the curvature of space-time. Yapping. You don't know what I'm saying. You just say I'm yapping, but what did I even say? You don't even know what I said. You don't understand science. Science is an amazing endeavor. Is climate change man-made? Well, yeah, the modern day climate change is caused by us. We are the ones causing climate to warm up. Greenhouse gases. Nobody created science. You're thinking of the universe, right? You're thinking that there's somebody who made the universe. No, nobody made the universe. That's nonsense. There's no evidence of somebody making it anything. That's just a primitive presupposition that there would be somebody making this. Well, who made God? If nobody made God, then nobody made the universe. You believe in the Big Bang. The Big Bang is the expansion of space-time. The universe is like a balloon, inflating like a balloon. And we're along the ride with that expansion. As the universe expands, we go along with it. And it appears, from our perspective, that things are moving away from us. It appears as if the universe is that galaxies are moving away from us. But in actuality, it's just that the entire universe, space and time itself, is expanding, making it appear as if everything is moving away from us when it's not. Nothing's really moving away from us. That's just a perspective-based thing to say. How did the Big Bang happen? Well, if you take empty space, you get rid of the air, and you get empty space. That's space. The stuff that makes up the universe, the stuff that we're in, it's not empty. There is an entire field of energy embedded within space and time itself. And these are quantum fields. And some quantum fields are scalar fields, some are vectors, some are inflaton fields. In other words, some have aspects, some fields have certain aspects which give them certain functions. And it turns out that certain inflaton fields can fluctuate. Energy can fluctuate in certain ways. If you have a certain fluctuation, you get an inflationary universe, one that expands, one that inflates into the universe we know today. Like a balloon inflating. And this is called inflationary cosmology. How can nothing make something? Well, that's the mystery of quantum mechanics. That's what quantum mechanics is all about. That you can get a universe from nothing. You can do it through quantum fluctuation. This is why I say the universe is more mysterious than you think it is. It isn't black and white. The universe is not as intuitive as it seems. You can get something from nothing because there is no such thing as nothingness in an absolute sense. The universe is full of stuff. Even empty space is full of stuff that we can't see. But it's there. In fact, the universe is boiling with energy. And sometimes bubbles form. Right? Imagine a pot of water. It's bubbling and boiling. Right? Sometimes on the top of the water, you have a certain bubble that forms. That's our universe. That's like what our universe is like. Imagine a sea of this boiling water and some bubbles produce our universe. It's possible. I'm not saying this is true, but it's a very good possibility. And pondering these things is incredible. Pondering these things is amazing. It's healthy to do so every once in a while, to just look around and understand that the deep complexities of nature and how counterintuitive it is. Because in our daily lives, we love to assume that things are intuitive, that things only work the way we think they do, and they should. But no, every time we learn more about the universe, it amazes us and it defies our expectations. It defies our intuitions. Almost every time. And some of the greatest mysteries were uncovered through this process of science. Some of the greatest facts about the universe are the ones that are completely counterintuitive, like time and relativity and gravity. Gravity is not a force. Gravity doesn't pull things or attract things. It's nonsense. Relativity shows that gravity is just the intersection of certain geodesics in a warped curvature of space. Space-time. Acceleration of gravity is just certain geodesics, certain world lines intersecting with each other in the universe. It's a very interesting thing to talk about. Did the universe create itself? Well, saying that it create itself is implying agency. I don't know what that would be like for there to be an agency behind quantum mechanics. We can imagine a universe that just does. It operates on its own without anybody doing it. And if you're going to say that there's somebody doing this, well, who's making that person work? Who's making God do what he does? Who decides what God does? And how does God do what he does? You know, because if you say he decides himself, well, okay, I can say I decide myself, but I'm still governed by laws that enable me to enact those decisions. So what laws make God allow God to do what he does? And you'll find that there is no answer. That in both circumstances, God and no God are the same. No difference. In other words, a universe without a God is just as apparent as a universe with a God. There's no difference. You go to a construction site, CMS, base your unbelief in architecture or engineering in it. When you look at a cloud, do you think there's a cloud maker? Do you think when you see the rain come down, is there a rainmaker? Is there somebody in the clouds with a hose? No. It's a natural process. It's a natural process. You don't need somebody. When you look at the volcanoes, do you think there's a magma man pushing the magma up? No. These are natural processes, just like everything else in the universe, including the stuff that governs your body. You are complex, not because somebody made you, but because you're the products of billions of years of chemical changes that have accumulated over time. You are the accumulation of your biochemistry. That took billions of years to happen. It didn't happen in one day. It took time. What is in your mind the purpose of life? Yeah, it seems to most people that without God, purpose is non-existent. Well, unfortunately, I think that there's plenty of purpose in my life. You know, again, if you let go of all your expectations, if you just let go of all that religious baggage that you carry around with you all the time, you just recognize that all you do is exist. That's all we are. We just exist. And there's no need for there to be somebody helping us or giving us a purpose. We just are. And it's scary to do. But once you do that, you realize that purpose emerges. Purpose emerges from the things we do, the things you enact. So I can produce purpose. It emanates from me because I can do things to help other people, right? You let go of all those different expectations for your reality. You realize that you yourself can make a change and impact, and that itself is a purpose. I can give, why are you guys here? Why are there 400 people watching me? It gives them a reason. There's a reason why they're watching me. That's a purpose. So we can produce purpose. We can generate it. And that to me is more spectacular than a purpose that's just given to us by some God. I'm not a slave to God. So I'm not told purpose, I'm producing it. And for that, I think that not only can we have purpose without God, but I think that we can have a more pure sense of purpose without God. A more powerful sense, a more potent sense of purpose without God. You really changed the way I look at life. Great. Keep thinking. I mean, it's scary. And I know it's scary, guys, to ponder these big questions about reality, right? Where do we come from? What's before the Big Bang? Why are we here? What is all this? And these are very, 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 very common questions because we all have them. We're all curious, and It is a mysterious place we live in. And it can be very scary and terrifying even to bathe in these questions, to simmer in these questions. But if you do go to those moments, just recognize that all we got's each other, right? At the end of the day, no matter what the ultimate purpose is for reality, whatever the answer is, or whatever the ultimate truth is, if it even exists, all that we have is each other. Your friends, your family, the people you love. That's all we got, right? And when you come to this realization, all this other fluff doesn't matter. All that matters is what's here. What's now. That's really all that matters. And that kind of grounds you, you know? So, yeah, you can get to a moment where you are in a healthy balance between asking these big questions and being comfortable with where you are now, right? And that's really what it's about. But I suspect that as people leave religion, as we're seeing, people increasingly have these questions, and that's what I want to do, right? Because I've been an atheist for almost a decade, so I know what it's like to go through these questions and really have this existential thought process. So I want to be here to help you guys, you know, because it can be difficult to do, but worth it. One of the greatest things in my life that ever happened was leaving religion. The most mind-opening thing. It's scary at first. Of course it is. And that's why people don't do it typically, because it's scary. Because you think there's no purpose. You think there's no meaning without God. And there's so much structure with it. You feel like you're part of something. And for that, I understand. But if you just have the courage to make a little bit change and face your fear, you become free in a way. It's freedom in a way, mental freedom. Because now you're not stuck in any one view. Now whatever the universe throws at you, you deal with. And you don't expect so many things, and you're not as disappointed, and you're not as fearful of things that are different from your view. You're more open, and I think it's a more healthy way to view the world. It's just beneficial in almost every way. You didn't give God a chance. I've been a Christian for 20 years. I know what it's like to believe in God. I don't know what it's like to be somebody who is mad at atheists. I was like that too. That's why I'm here, because I understand where you're coming from, and I want to help other people that are going through what I did. It's a journey. It's a worthy journey. It's a ride, right? The universe is a ride. It's like a roller coaster. But I embrace every day as an atheist. I love every day, every moment I get. Because it could be my last. Every moment I get with my family, my friends. It's just like another precious moment. Right? Recognizing who you missed, who have passed. Right? This reinforces this notion. Every day you're confronted with the reality that this might be your last, and that this is your only chance to live. It also reinforces this notion of preciousness and value. So to me, To me, people think that atheists have no purpose nor value, but I see the opposite, total opposite way. I think that Christianity and Islam don't have much value. But secularism does actually allow you to see much value in the world. Atheist is the future of humanity. Well, probably. But I don't care about atheism. That's just a label, right? In actuality, I'm here to make you think critically. I want you to think critically and have a good mindset as to how to navigate information. This ocean of information that we're thrown into. How do you navigate? How do you tell what's true from what's false? What do you believe in and why do you believe in it? Right? That's what I'm here to do, to show you that there's a method, there's a promising method called science that can be very beneficial for you in every aspect of your life. Every aspect of your life can change and benefit from learning science. Science is about poking the universe to see what happens. That's what science is about. Science isn't perfect, but it's an honest way of poking the universe to see what happens back, right? It's an honest attempt at trying to discover the world around us. Are we alone in the universe? Well, when you take a look at how vast the universe is, it seems to me that it's impossible that we're alone, in the sense that there are more stars in the universe than grains of sand in all the beaches of the earth combined. There's 10 to the 24 stars. That's 10 with 24 zeros after it. That's how many stars that we can see. And around each star is at least 5 to 10 planets. There's more planets than stars in the universe. So given that number, there's probably tons of life out there that we probably don't even understand yet. And not just biological life, but perhaps all kinds of different forms and mediums of living beings, electric beings and machine beings. All kinds of life out there. Silicon life. Perhaps there's living beings inside of stars, black holes. There could be some kind of living being inside of a black hole or just outside of a black hole. There's so much out there, so many possibilities that we have not even looked at. People don't understand that the stars are suns. Yeah. Every star you see out there is another sun, just far away. And that's something we didn't know much for a long time. We thought that the stars were just their own lamps and objects, but no, there's other worlds around those stars too, just like our world. Love your content. Super inspirational. Great. Favorite theoretical physicist? Brian Greene. I have his book behind me. Another fantastic man. He's also vegan. Why be vegan? Well, I'm vegan for the same reasons I don't want to eat people. People don't deserve to die, just like animals don't deserve to die for us. You don't have to eat them. They're just their own beings who don't want to die. That's it. Why harm them? There's no good reason to. They're not objects, they're individuals, just like we are. What do you think of Bob Lazar? He's a fraud, he's a joke, he's a scammer, he's a scam artist. Do you think we discovered more of the ocean or space? The ocean, by far. The oceans are the oceans are largely understood. It's just water and sand. There's no Loch Ness monster. There's no aliens or Atlantis. It's not. There's no evidence of that. We've mapped them with satellites. We know it's there generally. Now, will there be species that we haven't discovered yet? Then there, of course, but they will not be something magical. They will be just types of fish and stuff. Space is much more vast and mysterious than the oceans. You think we will ever colonize Mars? Yeah. I hope so. Mars is awesome. You know? We are wanderers, humans. We love to wonder. We love to explore. That's what makes us human. We're curious. We like to poke things. We like to test things. We like to investigate things. And Mars is just an expression of that curiosity. What's on this planet? It's a new world. Ooh, a new world. Lower gravity. It's far away. It's a challenge. Let's do it. Right? That's just the intuition we have. Another part of going to Mars is a second home. Hey, we have a second chance. If this planet explodes tomorrow, we have a second place to be. We can still survive. Another aspect is life. Well, what if there's life there? What if we can discover something about life on that planet that might give us insight on our life, on our planet? So there are many reasons to go to Mars, all of which are very important. And in going to space, we actually learn about ourselves. You know, going to the moon, we were forced to invent things and discover things that we never seen before, right? Because we were forced into conditions that we've never been in before, and because of that, our true human spirit manifested. Because we were forced to really think about the challenge of going to the moon. In the same way, Mars will force us to think in ways we never thought before, and it will hence give us new amazing inventions that we can't think of today. So that curiosity drives discovery, which then drives more inventions and more capabilities. That's why we are the way we are today. It's a compounding effect. There isn't any oxygen on other planets. Well, we don't know that. There could be planets out there that are vastly more suitable for life than the Earth. There could be planets out there full of water and trees and life and lots of oxygen and warmth. There could be planets out there that are even more suitable for life than our own planet. What makes you think that we have the best? That's another thing that really captivated me as a kid. I loved learning about exoplanets. But they're real. The best thing about science is that it's real. All these possibilities, time travel, time dilation, quantum mechanics, exoplanets, wormholes, black holes, neutron stars, pulsars, all these are real. These are real possibilities. That's something that religion can't do. That is undoubtedly something that religion can't do. The Bible will never speak of wormholes. It never will do that. But science can. And it's not imaginary. It's real. That's the most profound thing about science. That it takes us to places that we've never seen before, and they're real. They're real. We can do it. The holy books mention planets. Well, they didn't know that planets were worlds like ours. They thought planets were stars and space and objects in the sky. They didn't know that they were actual worlds that you can walk on. That wasn't known until the 1500s. But the point is that the way we view the world today is vastly different than the way they viewed it in the past. Is religion a spontaneous, autonomous product of collective human psychology? Yeah, I would say that largely speaking, not religion necessarily, but this aspect of our imagination, right? We are imaginative beings. We love to imagine. We love to storytell. Language is innate to our brain structure. And for this reason, we can imagine concepts, we can imagine symbols and images and sounds and words, and we can form these stories in our minds. And things we observe can drive these imaginations. So religion is a branching of the imaginative side of human mentality. It's not that the belief in God is innate to us as humans, but the belief in something like egocentric, something that cares about, like that there's something outside of me that cares about me, right? And we have this innate feeling of being wanted. Nobody likes to be alone. Nobody likes to be excluded from the group. We love to be social. So it's only part of being human to imagine that there's some being out there who cares about me, and this took many forms in the past. And there were many different gods, there's animism, there's ideas of animals being somehow produced or spiritual things. There was the earth gods, the wind gods, the fire. There were many aspects of we love to personify things. So why am I self-aware? It blows my mind. Yeah, it does. But you have to remember that the brain is like it's like a city. You know how when you build a city, you build roads, and these roads, as you need more places, as you build more neighborhoods, you need more roads, right? So it's like this stacking upon. Then you build bridges, then you build highways, right? And then you interconnect them with bigger highways, right? So a city is this big interconnected network of roads and pathways and bridges and tunnels and things. So that's how the brain works. The brain is constantly producing signals and things like that. Your brain is a vast network of neural connections, each with their own different energy levels, and this allows for different thoughts, different tighter connections, you'll different more powerful thoughts and memories. So the point here is that the brain is a very complex mechanism, and because of this, we're able to understand so many things. And the brain is what kind of sustains this illusion of self-awareness. I mean, what do you mean by the self? What does the self even mean? After all, we're all essentially, particulates, atoms and cells working together. There's nothing about me that's unique. When I say me, what am I really talking about? My atoms? Well, they change every day. Every month, all the cells of your body exchange themselves. So the point is that when we talk about self-awareness, what do you mean by that? Awareness happens to be some kind of bioelectrical mechanism, chemical interactions, and that's what we are, right? Consciousness seems to be the emergent process of these billions of interactions happening in our brains and bodies, sustaining this illusion of awareness. But anyway, I hope you guys all subscribe to my channel. On YouTube, consciousness is bioelectricity. Yeah, true. Your brain rewires itself every 7 years. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to learn about. What about the moon? What do you mean? What about it? It's just a big rock. The moon is actually part of Earth. The moon is actually part of Earth. About 4 billion years ago, there was a planet the size of Mars in the early solar system, and it collided with the Earth. And this collision was so powerful that it knocked off a chunk of magma into space. And that magma, some of that went into space and formed the moon, coalesced into the moon. And that became slowly the moon. It's an amazing phenomenon, but we actually know this to be the case because we actually have moon rocks from the moon missions we can look at and we can test, and we see that it matches closely with the type of material in the Earth's core and crust and mantle. It's the same shit. And we also know that in the past, the moon was full of magma. It was molten. It was magma. So that also signifies a very massive impact. And that's why we know with almost certainty that the moon is part of Earth due to a collision. And that's amazing. These are mind-boggling facts. Like if you're not used to these things, it's very amazing to learn about. And that's part of why I do what I do today. Because when I learned all these things, it just fascinated me. Not just that, it just changed the way I see the world, right? And that's part of science that I love, and that happens not all the time, but the time it does happen, it's amazing to experience something novel, something you've never seen before your eyes. It's like magic. It's magic. Unraveling a mystery. That's magic. Right? Magic exists in the form of science. And the best part of science, it's real. It's not fake. It's real. That's the most amazing. Perhaps the most amazing fact about reality. That we can understand it. We can learn it. We can do something about it. It's amazing. The universe is a mystery. And there's two ways to confront that. Either scared be scared from it and go run and cry and say, oh, it's God. Right? Either avoid the mystery and run towards a God, right? Run towards comfort. Or you can face the darkness head on. You can face it, have the courage to go step into the darkness and really understand what it is. That's science. That's what science is about. It's about stepping into the darkness and having the courage to learn what it's about with an honest mind, not being muddied by the expectation of what you want it to be. The religious, they expect there to be a God. They expect an afterlife. They expect good things to happen to them. They expect reward. They expect that stuff. Now they're stuck to it, right? They're tethered to it now. They've tethered themselves to some egocentric idea. Whereas the scientist is now stepping in the darkness and able to discover things that nobody else has ever discovered before. And because of that, a much more healthy perspective emerges. A much more powerful perspective on reality emerges. And a very humbling perspective. Theists often call themselves humble. While they think they're the center of the universe, they think the entire universe was designed for them. They think that the little stuff we know about the universe, that it's all for us. That's nonsense. It was tuned for us. That's garbage, right? When you actually learn about the rest of the universe, it's void of any significant sign that we are special, that we partake in some kind of main role in it. That's nonsense. Seems to me that we are not special, and for that, the universe becomes much more amazing. Or boring. We're just apes on a rock. If the universe was made for us, that would be a pathetic universe. That would be a sad place to be, right? Imagine a universe where all there is us. That's boring. I want a universe where there's stuff outside of us and mysteries and things that make us feel insignificant. That's part of being open-minded. Embracing the mystery is part of learning it. Whereas the religious tend to shun away the mystery in favor of comfort. They're paying ignorance in exchange for comfort. And that is a detriment to their perspective. The world looks very different to somebody who has a scientific mindset. Very different. Because from the perspective of somebody religious, they see things through the God goggles. Everything's God. Right? And that's all they can see is God. Because their scope of reality is so small that all they can see is, oh, this was designed, or this was made for me, or this was here for me, or this is part of the plan for me. It's all about me, 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 me. So I'm trying to show people that there is another perspective that steps outside of that egocentric view and allows us to see the world in a much more prosperous way, a more pure way.